Yo, what's going on, guys? We've got some freaking breaking news. The CEO of Arrowhead is stepping down, but don't worry. Let's go ahead and just read his tweet. He named a new CEO, and he's going to be taking the role of the creative director. So he's not leaving the company, but he's stepping down as CEO to focus more on the creative direction of the game. I went ahead and pulled up all the tweets of how this could possibly impact the game, and this is possibly some really good news. It's kind of crazy. So let's just go over all the stuff I pulled up. He literally just tweeted 30 minutes ago. And he even has an article with a game company. So let's go ahead and just see what he had to say. He says, "Hey everyone, big update. I've decided to hire Shams Georgiani as the new CEO of Arrowhead. We go way back, and I wouldn't trust the business in any other hands than his, and he comes with an impressive resume and love for games. But what about me and my involvement in Helldivers 2? Well, I'm glad you asked, because, we all want to know. I'm taking the role of Chief Creative Officer, which means I will spend more time with the team and 100% of my focus on the games and community." So he is stepping down as CEO to take a more creative role in making the game really good. And if you guys are like me, I actually have some First Descendant tabs open over here. The game, the last couple updates have gotten a little bit stale. We've all noticed the player count dropping. Now, there was a really old tweet from him on May 8th. Actually, this isn't that old. It was this month. But he tweeted this on May 8th. This was right after the Sony controversy. And I remembered this tweet when reading this because it was a bit of foreshadowing, actually, which is kind of crazy. So someone said, "How is it that the CEO has a better understanding of how players prefer balance than the literal balance guy? A new approach to balance is needed." And he said, "I've done most of the designs for Magicka, Helldivers, and Helldivers 2. My main expertise is in design, gameplay code, VFX, and level design, and to a smaller extent, 3D art. Running a business is what I'm least proficient in." So he's obviously been thinking about this for a while, but he actually tweeted this back on May 8th, and I happen to remember this, so I pulled it up. But I also pulled up some other replies for what this could mean for the game. So someone said, "Kinda sucks to see you go." They obviously misread the tweet, but I hope you'll still give us updates on the game. And yeah, they misread it. And he said, "I'm still here and will be more active with the community and work closer to the team. I'm still very much as involved. The business side takes too much time from making games." So he's clearly stepping down so he doesn't have to deal with the business end of stuff. Someone replied to him and said, "Start by making armors have actual interesting stats. Too many are just copies. All the guns in the Polar Warbond are meh or bad." All right, well, the Pummeler is good, but that's besides the point. Best addition was the grenade. "Can the bots or bugs attack other planets instead of moving in a straight line towards Super Earth?" And he simply says, "Agree on all points." So he's taking a side in what the community is interested in. This tweet, he just said to let him focus on making more games and not have to deal with HR policies. There was a good tweet I'm actually looking for. This one, okay, we'll get to that in a second. This one, he said, "Nah, not nearly done, but I care more about weapon balance than QBRs." I don't even know what the hell this is. Probably some business bullshit. But it seems he's listened to the player base about weapon balance, and that leads us to our next tweet. Shoot, I had it pulled up. Here we go. Someone said, "As CCO, what is your direction in receiving and reviewing player feedback?" Very good question. First thing we got to do is ensure we get more devs time playing the game. It's hard to make the right decision if the eyes aren't on the road. Secondly, I want to ensure we actively look at the sentiment and create a holistic view of why feedback is given. And my working theory is that TTK is too high. So this is something I agree with, and I just want to bring up the point that bullet sponges in video games often don't feel good unless it's like some sort of raid boss, right? So when you get a million chargers chasing you around, it doesn't feel good unless you have the charger killing weapon. Bullet sponges don't feel good. What feels way better is instead of shooting one enemy with 20 small enemies' health bars, is spraying down 20 weak enemies. You know what I mean? Because you feel stronger. You feel me? So I like his working theory. Now, he also put out this article talking about this a bit more, and we could just go over this real quick, and then we can give our thoughts on this whole situation, because this is just an impromptu video, to be honest with you guys. I did not expect to read the CEO stepping down, which is insane. So, Arrowhead Game Studios has named Shams Georgiani as its new CEO, replacing company founder Johan Bilstead. I forget, he said his name before. He remained the chief creative officer and chairman. The move follows the smash hit success of HD2, which has sold 12 million copies. Georgiani is a games business veteran and spent 12 years in senior leadership roles at Paradox. He's also served as chairman of indie publisher Hooded Horse and acts as a senior advisor for various game businesses. Speaking to the magazine, Pilestead explains that hiring a dedicated CEO will give him more time to focus on his love for game creation while giving the company the structure and leadership it needs. I've been thinking about the journey ahead for Arrowhead, the future games we're going to be making, and running the organization beyond the 120 or so developers we have currently. He tells us, I realize that running an organization of over 100 people to however large it is going to get, it means I will have to choose between deepening my love for game creation or the business. Over the last year going to launch of HD2, I've been pulled more towards the business side of things and not able to focus on the creative side. That made me realize I need to make some decisions, both for the success of the business, but also myself. So I reached out to Shams, we had a lunch, and we asked him that if I was to reconsider running Arrowhead for the next decade and I needed to hire a new CEO, would he be interested? After some contemplation and deep anxiety on how things are going to pan out, I finally came to the proper conclusion that I will have to follow my heart. It's not only right for me, but it's also right for the organization. Having a reluctant CEO is not something that will turn out that well, I think. Georgiani adds, when you're talking to creatives like Johan, it's not like he wants to retire. HD2 is not the highlight of his career. Hopefully, it's the fourth best game he ever makes. So the question is, how do we set Johan and the team up to get that in a more consistent manner, rather than skill plus luck plus happenstance, all the things that led us here? What I'll be bringing to the table is organization and leadership, what I did at Paradox when I joined as the 23rd person and then helped grow the company into the behemoth it was. It was about organization, leadership, and business focus. It's a lot of the frankly boring business administration stuff that is a necessary part of running a company, which is hard to do when you're also juggling the chairman's hat and the creative director's hat, and also being the one who is in the trenches doing a lot of the designing that Johan has been doing over the years. Bethesda has Todd Howard, Kojima has Kojima, Remedy has Sam Lake, but when you ask who is running these companies, who is the CEO or managing director, you can't name the humble servants behind the scenes. So that's the setup. How do we enable Johan to make more Helldivers, and what I bring is a structure around that. So, guys, this is crazy. Once again, the old CEO of Arrowhead is just the most based freaking gamer, apparently, of all time. Like, this dude is stepping down as CEO because he's not happy with the balance of the game or the reaction of the community. He wants to literally become the chief creative officer, that is his new role, and make Helldivers 2 great again, which is insane. I don't know. That takes a lot of balls to do that, honestly, because they sold 12 million copies. He could easily just be like, okay, we got our money. You know, we were only expecting to sell 1 million copies. Didn't they say that before or something like that? Or not even 1 million. And yeah, so that's crazy. He's talking about how he's more interested in the weapon balance. He's talking about armor. He agreed with someone who said armor needs more values. I agree with that for sure. You know, some of the new war bonds just literally selling reskins, which is fine. It's like cosmetics. You know, every game sells cosmetics. That's cool and all. But we all know that like new armor sets and new armor perks, even if they're not in the war bonds, if they're in the superstores, when the war bond drops, like, you know, you don't want to force people to buy the war bonds. Okay, drop those new perks in a superstore armor the same day for 200 creds or whatever they are. You know, people could buy that with the extra 200 credits they earn from in-game. They don't feel forced to buy the war bond. And I don't know, dude. I've never seen a CEO step down and say, I'm switching to a creative. This is like, surprising because I was just not expecting this at 8 a.m. on on a Wednesday, and it sounds good, man. It really, I don't know, dude. I don't want to be too ecstatic, of course, or just like, but that, I mean, that takes some balls to really do. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Johan, if you watch this video, you're based, my guy. Because again, that takes some freaking balls. So be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.